Hey, Francis Charles here, and I just finished watching the first episode of HBO Max's The Penguin, and I'm going to give my thoughts and impressions on the first episode and compare it to my experience of reading the Penguin series. It was just finished by DC. The first thing I want to point out is the complexity of the character and his intelligence. Um, is is pitch perfect when you compare it to the comic. Um, you find out a lot about him and how he, plants seeds for something that you don't see, like in the comic books, but in the end ends up paying off in a surprising yet, logical way. Um, the writing, the people who wrote this, love the comics. They you can't convince me that the people who wrote this series were not working with the people that wrote the comic. Yes, it's a different story, but the Penguin is identical to the recent The Penguin run that we saw in the comics. He is cold, pragmatic, um, prone to fits of rage, yet very calculated at the same time. And he's a guy who's willing to endure a lot of pain and take a visible loss in order to gain a bigger win. Something that you saw time and time again in the comic and even in this first episode. Um, and when we, talk about the series as a whole, outside of Oswald Cobblepot and his complexity as a character, there were two things that I noticed. One of which I almost guarantee that nobody else, probably very few people notice unless you are, a part of the disabled community, is you find out that he has some abnormality with his leg that causes him a lot of pain and mobility issues. And whenever he's out in public, he doesn't address it. He doesn't sell it. He puts on a very tough exterior. And in a scene where him and his protege were in a subway car, you see him get on. He's tired. It's in a montage of them taking different trains and doing, going all over the city to kind of obscure their tracks. But when they get on one train, a visibly tired Oswald kind of glances at a handicap seat, and just stands there as opposed to taking a seat. And you can see his protege kind of looking at him like, "Why aren't you going to sit down?" But that's something to hit home because I am disabled, and a lot of times it's like we feel like if we can convince ourselves that we're not in pain, or even people with invisible injuries, we want to act like we're not going through what we're going through. And one of the hardest things for me to get used to was using disabled amenities. So that was a very true to life, relatable moment. Um, which, again, you take a moment like that, a very real moment, and you juxtapose it with the rest of his personality. It makes for a very deep and frightening character. Um, the kind of guy who has, what he does, moral, immoral, right, wrong, or pure damn evil, is pragmatic and it makes sense, which is the scariest thing about the guy. And that's shown in the comic and in the series. And the series throws a lot of details at you, a lot of blink, and you'll miss it. And, a lot of shows that can get kind of taxing to watch. But for me, I was sitting there the whole time just, I had to see everything and experience everything. I wasn't able to go to the social media. I was transfixed on the screen from what I was seeing. And it's shot like a movie. So, it's a good looking show, but there's also so many details, so many things. And I am sure that if I go back and rewatch, other things will make sense that you see. But again, you find out that, you know, he is a very disturbing and intelligent man. And you juxtapose that with the character you meet roughly halfway through, Sophia Falcone. And she is the mob boss's daughter. And when she first enters the picture, you're given nothing about her. But when Oswald hears her voice, he visibly shudders. And he has this look of panic and fear just underneath a veneer of bravado, which, with her just posing a simple greeting, is menacing from his reaction. And you know that if Oswald is this crazy, Sophia is next level. And you find out, through the next few scenes, that she is recently out of Arkham and has a very, very dark, violent history, which comes around to the end. And she is one of the few people in the story that actually sees Oswald for who he is, the cold, calculating, pragmatic, manipulative sociopath, putting on the veneer of humility and submission. And she calls him on that and holds him accountable to that. And, I think that the combination of her viciousness along with her intuition is what makes her, such a frightening character to the Penguin. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but it is well worth the watch. Like I said, I couldn't even go to social media. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen, and I think I went the whole hour in silence of what just stunned silence of what I was seeing unfold in front of me. So much TV is just made to, get out in front of the eyes and to capture you for this moment and sell you something without a lot of depth, without a lot of care put into the product. But this series, at least judging from episode 1, is built different. I would give this a 9 out of 10. I would say 10 out of 10, but it's not MASH, and I'm an old nerd, so what can I say? Anyway, you guys be easy. If you have HBO Max, check out The Penguin, brand new series that's going to drop every Thursday. And, if you want to get into Max, they have great introductory deals. I'm on a deal right now where I got a free trial. And then, to top that off, I was given 3 more months of service at half price before I actually paid the full price. And so I'm paying $8.49 for commercial free Max. So, that's a great deal for 3 months. And then after that, it's going to be twice as much, $16. So for the entertainment value for me is more than enough. And if you're cool with commercials, it's going to be a lot less. I don't like commercials, so I paid those $16. But anyway, you guys be easy. Tell me what you think of the Penguin down below, either the comic or the series. I absolutely love the comics. If you watch my channel for a long time, I've gushed over them multiple times. A lot of videos about the comic series. Again, if you haven't seen it, go to your local bookstore. And if you don't have a local bookstore, I always suggest my friends at Coffee and a Comic. And through October, if you use the code OLDNERDWY, you get 15% off of your comic purchase, and they ship nationally with great prices. So I'll see you guys next time. Later.